Hello, my name is Alfred Baldish, and in this video I'm going to show you the new features added to PardallMarkdown. If you don't know what PardallMarkdown is, it's a reactive publishing framework reading with Elixir. What does that mean? It means that as soon as you make changes or add new Markdown files, you see the changes immediately in your website or whatever other Elixir application that you use with PardallMarkdown. If you want to see an in-depth introduction to PardallMarkdown, there is another video on my channel that is a complete tutorial to PardallMarkdown. After that, you can come back to this video to see the new features, including the exciting Git repository integration. As soon as you push changes to a repository, PardallMarkdown syncs the changes and recompiles the Markdown files immediately. This feature is thanks to the initiative and initial contribution by Code Brunner. So thanks a lot, Code. Thanks to you, we now have this incredible and critical feature added to PardallMarkdown. So you don't now even need to think about how to sync Markdown files with a server while using PardallMarkdown, because now PardallMarkdown has support to remote repositories. You have to add 3 new configuration keys. The first one is the remote repository URL. So this is where you place the URL or the path to the Git repository. There is a new path configuration key, which is where to clone this repository. This is different from the main and most important key from PardallMarkdown, which is the root path. It can be the same value as root path. So in most cases it will be the same value. But if your Markdown files are inside a subfolder into the subfolder of the repository, then your root path is going to be different from the remote repository local path configuration. There is an example here in the README. And then there's another key, which is the recheck pending remote events interval. So basically, how often should PardallMarkdown pull this remote Git repository for changes? You must set the recheck pending remote event interval a higher value than the other configuration key, which is the recheck pending file events interval. And that's it. That's all you need to do in order to have PardallMarkdown sync content from a Git repository. You have only to set those 3 new keys, and that's it. If you want to see that in action, the PardallMarkdown Phoenix demo repository has been updated to use content from another repository which contains sample content. So if you check over here, open the demo content in config, you can see the remote repository URL points to this folder which has Markdown files and static files. Another big addition to the PardallMarkdown ecosystem is my own personal wiki, which is you can access at pardall.xyz. And this website uses the same source code as the Phoenix demo repository, a PardallMarkdown Phoenix demo repository, right? But the difference is that the content comes from another repository, which is also a public repository, and you can access it. It's the Pardall XYZ content. And this case, I have a case, and in my case, for my website, the Markdown content starts inside a subfolder inside the repository. That's why I also added a key to set a clone path, and then a root path. In this case, in my website, the configuration goes like this: root path, then website. For example, if you see over here, website, the folder website contains the Markdown files, and then the clone path is just this. So you can your repository can be structured in such a way that you separate the contents. And of course, the static local path is _resources inside the folder where the repository is cloned. Static files are all here, and then this is my wiki. Currently, my wiki contains studies from Van Gogh, because I like Van Gogh very much. This wiki is very image heavy, but as you can see, it's using PardallMarkdown. And if I make a change and push to this repository, the wiki is gonna be updated automatically. I cloned the Phoenix demo project repository, and now using the default settings, including the content folder to be inside the application folder, the folder still doesn't exist because I'll let PardallMarkdown create the folder. Now, this is also possible because previously, before this update, you had to have the folder existing before running PardallMarkdown. Also, don't forget to npm install inside the assets folder. There is just a single dependency, a very small one. And then let's run the application. As soon as the application started, the repository was cloned. Then, moments later, the file watcher picked the changes and parsed the content. And now, PardallMarkdown repository watcher is fetching data every 15 seconds because of the recheck pending remote events interval configuration key. Let's do a test now. So I have the localhost website running here, and we have this. Let's open the documentation, getting start configuration wiki page. Let's make a change, and then let's push that change. So I can go to documentation, getting started, configuration, right? So let's change the name to configuration exclamation point. The same here. Let's now push that change. It was so fast that I couldn't even see the changes before switching windows. Let's keep both windows side by side, and then let's do a new change again. So as you can see, the exclamation point is here. Let's do it again. Of course, it's not exactly instantaneous because we have the intervals configured, but if you make the intervals lower, then it can almost be instantaneous. This also works in production because my personal wiki that uses PardallMarkdown is in production, is an Elixir application in production, and I can push changes to the repository and you can see it in action. I'm gonna do that in a moment. Let's just do it again for the localhost application. So let's make another change. So around 10 to 15 seconds, depending on which interval we are waiting. Yeah, we got the next step of the interval, 15 seconds. Let's see. Here. Yeah, as you can see, it reloaded. Now let's do that with a website in production. So this is my website, right? Let's open this Markdown file called Van Gogh Painting Journey. So as I said, the structure for my website is different because the resources folder is the folder with the static files, and the website folder is the content folder itself. So I'm gonna take the painting journey file, there it is. Let's also place here, let's remove the bold text here and save, right? Now I'm gonna do the following. So do not forget, this is a website running with an Elixir application running in production. It's not a development environment. So as soon as the server detects, this should not be bold anymore. There it is. Let's wait. My hands are not pressing F5. Yeah, there it is. Work in progress is not bold anymore, even in production. So let's go back to bold. Let's do the same. I've been working with Phoenix and Phoenix channels since it has been created. Like I have written thousands and thousands of lines of Elixir and in Phoenix and Phoenix channels and LiveView, recently LiveView, right? And it always blows my mind. I love it. I love it so much. So it should be bold in around 15 to 30 seconds again. Yes, it's bold. So that's it. If you use PardallMarkdown, do not forget to update to use Git integration because it's much better.